Welcome everybody to Wrestling with the Week, a beautifully executed frog splash on what's happening in the world over the last 7 days. I'm your host, James Willems, joined as always by the face of the revolution, Scorpio Sky.
James, what a week.
Yeah, bigger for you than it was for me, that's for sure. How are you doing, Sky?
I'm doing good. Ups, downs. This week has been crazy. I'm gonna hold this pin when I talk a little bit today because I feel like guys just look like they know what they're talking about a little bit better when they hold a pin. It's been a hell of a week. Starting, Revolution, Dynamite. We got so much to get into. Obviously, there's things outside of wrestling. What a week.
What a week. Just because it's on the brain, let's start with Revolution. If you haven't already checked it out, we did a very special bonus episode that went up on Wednesday of last week where we kind of got our immediate reactions to Revolution, and more specifically your ladder match where you became the face of the Revolution. I mean, in my opinion, you were before. It was just formalized during the ladder match.
That ladder match was hard, man. My first match in 2 months and jumping right into deep water like I talked about a few weeks ago. It was not easy. I'm still feeling it. We're like a week plus later by the time this comes out. And I mean, my back, my shoulders, a ladder match is everything that it's built up to be. We talk about it going into it. We talk about how it's like, you're going to come out and you're not going to be the same and that sort of thing. It really is accurate, man. Like that one was one of the rougher ones.
Yeah. Especially when you're going into it and maybe even stepping out of it thinking, oh, I have a title shot because of this ladder match in only a matter of hours at this point. So I don't really have a lot of time to recover. And we're going to talk more about that too, because that took place on Dynamite. And I definitely have some questions for you about what transpired there. But that wasn't the only thing. There was a lot that took place at Revolution. I know you were probably pumped up backstage, so I don't know how much you actually got to see. It's not like you're just sitting back there with your feet up watching the pay-per-view, of course. But we finally saw stuff like the Inner Circle. Jericho and MJF took on the Young Bucks. This has been a tag team match that has been brewing for some time, and the repercussions from that have been pretty dire. I don't know if you have any thoughts there.
Well, first off, I want to talk about how I said in the past that it's kind of a TV business now for wrestling. But to me, being an old school guy, a pay-per-view is still there's just something special about it. And you feel it, excuse me, you feel it when you are there. As performers, we show up, we dress up a little bit better. We're feeling a little bit a little more energy in our step. Obviously there's new sets. Everybody debuts new gear, and the crowd is just a little bit more hype on pay-per-views. And there's just something really special about it. You want to turn it up to the next level. You want to outperform everybody else. And it's such a fun environment to be a part of. Now, moving on, the Young Bucks always deliver in these big match situations. And I said that going into the match. I said in a big match situation when everything is on the line, I'm always going to bet on the Young Bucks because they are big match players. I thought it was a great match with MJF, Jericho against the Young Bucks. It was a really good match. I made a point to sit and watch it in the back, and the Young Bucks came out on top, as they do many, many times.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you saw the confidence of the Inner Circle going into it, and when that confidence is shaken by the skills of the Young Bucks, that there's going to be repercussions there, and again, we're going to touch on Dynamite as well, and those repercussions definitely you can see when there are cracks in the foundation. And that's definitely the kind of thing that is going to shake out if you lose a high-profile pay-per-view match like that for the tag team titles. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the massive battle royale that took place. That thing was huge. It's a massive scale match. I lost track of how many people in there. I watched it with our producer, Eric, and at a certain point, we were thinking back on our own episode of this show where we were making our predictions, And we didn't even have all the teams that were in that match accounted for when we were doing our predictions. It's just like people kept pouring out of the locker rooms. It was chaos, but it was pretty awesome to see. Some of your old buddies were in there doing work. I don't know what were your thoughts on that match?
Yeah, I didn't even know they were going to be in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just were like, let's go, let's just run out there. Hey, play on my music, guy. You can do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was there aren't a lot of good battle royals in wrestling. It's just one of those matches. It's like, how many times have you ever been like, oh man, that was an awesome battle royal? But this was actually an awesome battle royal. It was good. I really enjoyed it. That was another one I sat and I watched. Those transitions and everything when it came down to the end with Jungle Boy and Phoenix, really, really good. I think it definitely made people want to see more of them. And it kept you guessing. You didn't know who was going to win. It was a lot of fun, man. Again, everybody turns it up a notch when it comes to pay-per-view, man.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was a blast. I always like matches that you're excited for the winner, but the person who came in second place, you saw the fight in them, and like Jungle Boy sticking it out in that match, really going for it. It's like, it's okay. Even if you didn't get that number one spot, maybe you didn't climb to the top of the ladder and grab that brass ring like some other superior athletes did. But that doesn't mean that you didn't show your stuff and make people excited to see what you have to share with everything. And I definitely think that match set up a lot of teams in that way. It was really, really exciting. A couple other things, because again, we have some other things we want to talk about it, and we don't want to just focus purely on wrestling, but I want to jump in. Hikaru Shida defended her against Ryo Mizunami. That was a knockdown drag. Again, we kind of talked about it, I think, on our previous episode, but it felt like I was watching like an old school hardcore match. They were just beating the hell out of each other. Crazy.
Big win for Shida. Her first victory over Rio. It's so hard for me. I mess up her name all the time. I apologize. But big win for her, and I if you remember, I had my money on Shida. It's different, as I guess I found out. It's different beating contenders as it is to beat the champion. And Shida has not lost a lot of matches in AEW. Sometimes it takes just being in the right position, like if you look at sports, whether it be football, baseball, or basketball, whatever, sometimes you have a player and you see the potential, but they're not quite what you think they could be. And then they go to a different situation, they're on a different team, and boom, they break out, they become superstars. Maybe Shida just needed to come to AEW, because since she's been in AEW, she has been a superstar. And she is really, really, really tough to beat. So she showed it. She's the champion for a reason. Great match. She's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, and I think, again, kind of like we mentioned about the Battle Royale, I don't think anyone's like, and that's the last we're going to be seeing of Ryo Mizunami. Like no, I don't think so at all. She's sticking around for sure.
Oh yeah.
And then also sticking around, there's a tag team match. Miro and Kip Sabian defeated Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. Now, this is the kind of thing where you watch that match, and you're like, this isn't over, and it doesn't feel like it's over at all. There's a lot of tension between these two teams, and I do think that when tension is on the line, a win doesn't really mean anything. It's not closure for people like this. So we're probably going to be seeing more of that going forward. And then also, of course, Hangman Page defeating Matt Hardy, winning that big money match. Where were our predictions on that one? I don't remember. Eric, do you remember what our predictions were on that one?
I think somebody said Matt Hardy, and somebody said Hangman Adam Page. Look, the predictions.
Yeah. The
predictions weren't the most important thing in that pay-per-view. The important thing on that pay-per-view, it's not about who won and lost, but it's about who won the Face of the Revolution ladder match. That's the important thing, and that's what the focus is. Listen, you're naming these matches. My head is just doing that thing where numbers are flying around it, because honestly, I just keep thinking about Scorpio Sky climbing to the top of the ladder and grabbing the brass ring, which was a literal brass ring that Sky said weighed 30 pounds.
Super heavy.
Yeah.
So heavy.
Yeah.
It was difficult to get off of the hook, which creates another obstacle for the climber. But you are right. I was victorious. I climbed, and no taking away from me whether I won the TNT championship or not. I'm still the face of the Revolution. That can't be taken away from me, and the Revolution continues.
I agree. I completely agree. Now you hinted at it, and so maybe we need to touch on it a little bit. Darby Allin and Sting also had a match that night that also was a knockdown drag out affair against Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. It ended with Darby Allin dropping some 2 floors down through a table and something and just disappearing. And then he also had to pick himself up and then go against you on Dynamite and for the TNT title. And I think we have to crack this egg open. Face of the Revolution, big match. How do you feel about what transpired in that title match?
Face of the Revolution versus the face of TNT. Our first matchup in AEW. First time a lot of people got to see Darby Allin and I on the same screen at the same time. I thought it was a really good match, honestly. It's one of those times that obviously you're competitive when you're in the ring and you're trying to win, but at the same time, you know what's going on. You understand when it's like, this is a good match. This is something that people are enjoying. You just kind of feel it. So that being said, I'm sure people were happy with it. I think it was a really, really good match, a really competitive match. But I just felt like the wrong guy won. I felt like if it was on a point system, I probably won most of those rounds 10-9. And I kind of feel like I if it was an MMA fight, that I won 4 out of 5 rounds and still walked away without the title.
You kind of, you said it yourself, the face of the Revolution, it may not, I personally think that if you were to come out wearing the brass ring, no one would complain, just make it a belt essentially. And no one can take that from you.
When Deontay Wilder lost to Tyson Fury in their big heavyweight fight a year or so ago, Deontay Wilder wore this extravagant ring jacket to the ring, and he said that one of the reasons why he lost that fight was because it was so heavy. He said it was like 45 pounds or something, and it just weighed on him, so he had no legs. And I thought about that. I said, I'm not bringing that ring to the ring because I'm not going to carry an extra 25 or 30 pounds and wear my legs out. But the reality is my legs were already a little, being completely honest with you, I don't completely have my legs under me yet. That was only my second match back. I'm not making excuses, but only my second match back from this injury and this time off I've had. So I'm still working my way back, but I do feel like I was at my best. So that's why I'm saying I'm not making excuses. I do feel like I was at my best. I do feel like I performed really, really well, but it just gives me encouragement because I can be better. And I don't think this is over.
Yeah, it for sure doesn't. I'll tell you this much: if for those of you listening who haven't checked out Dynamite last week, didn't feel like the end of me. But I'm sure we're going to find out more about that soon. I'm not going to press you too hard on it, Sky. I thought it was a great match.
Listen. I want to press just a little bit.
Okay, you're going to press. Eric's going to press.
Listen. This is what I do. I get in there and I get this. I get the scoops.
Okay.
Sky, what's it like wrestling someone that weighs maybe 100 pounds less than you? Is that, do you feel like being able to do you think being able to German suplex him 4 or 5 times
again and
into a corner and then hit him with a cutter on the outside? Like, is there, you look at everyone that you wrestled in that ladder match and you weren't the biggest guy and you weren't the smallest guy, but in this Darby match, you were by far the biggest guy. So what is that like? Is that like a changing game plan? Is that, especially when you don't have your legs totally under you, is that something?
Usually almost every person I face, most of the time I'm actually the smaller opponent, or equal size. I'm usually the faster opponent. And so it was a little different, wrestling someone smaller than I am. And, maybe faster. I don't know. I think I'm pretty quick. His style is very, very much based on quickness, and so my style was to kind of slow him down a little bit and use my power because I've got more experience, more strength, more power, and I hit harder. And my hand actually still hurts. At one point, I hit him with a right hand that would make Mike Tyson proud, I think. I just didn't. I should have followed up. Sometimes a little ring rust. I might have been able to put him away off of that. But anyways, I was a little thrown off about how his wrestling. Because a lot of people don't know Darby Allin as a mat wrestler, and so he got me on a few exchanges early. But being the champion I am, I made adjustments. And it wasn't too long before he was on his face, on his back, getting rubbed around, getting stretched. And yeah, man, I feel like I won 2 to 3 or 3 or 4 out of 5 rounds if it was an MMA fight, but somehow he walked away as the champ, man.
Well, I mean, he kind of limped away after, I think, a heel hook.
Okay, I'm
just saying. I'm just pointing out what happened.
Yeah, dreaded heel hook.
Yeah,
that's a dangerous move, man.
It's a heel hook.
It's a very, very dangerous move. A lot of people and you don't really see it in wrestling, and a lot of times you don't even see it in MMA in certain jiu-jitsu competitions. They don't allow you to do it because you can absolutely tear a guy's knee up and you can hurt his Achilles and or his heel and all of that. It's a very, very, very dangerous move. And so, I don't know. It was just there. And I just, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to talk about it on Dynamite this week. That's a good idea.
Okay.
I think I'm going to talk about it on Dynamite. Tune in this Wednesday. I'm going to get into some specifics about that. That's all I'm going to say for right now.
You gotta pull back a little bit, Eric. All right. You got to lay off a little bit. Okay. It's not a big, dangerous move. Yes, sure, it's dangerous. Darby Allin is a skater. If anything, he has strong ankles. You got to develop strong ankles for that. So it's not like, come on.
TBI.
You're right. No, you're right.
I want to talk about the exploding death match because that match was a blast. No pun intended. Stuff going off, explosions, barbed wire. We're seeing crimson masks. We're seeing everything. Everything's coming out of this match. And then at the very end, great match. Kenny takes the win, a little bit of help. But then at the very end, we're expecting this big, massive explosion. I don't know if we've never seen anything like this in the States. There's been matches like this in Japan. You see they put the ring in the middle of a lake just to make sure no one gets hit with shrapnel. And then just kind of a poof. Kenny can't build a bomb for crap, I guess. And now Everett has to deal with the repercussions of either his genius or his idiocy. And I don't know. I don't know if we're dealing with the Joker here or what.
I wouldn't count on Kenny to build a kitchen table. To be honest with you, I mean, let's not take anything away from him when it comes to in-ring. A tremendous wrestler, but if I need to build a bomb, which I can't imagine any situation where I would, but if I did, he wouldn't be the guy I'd call. I don't think I would. Let's just see. I need to build a bomb. Let's get Kenny Omega. No, that's not. I don't know why we didn't expect it to be like this, but
I think some of it too. It feels like Kenny got in on some of the branding as well. Because that match was booting up and they're listing off all the stuff that could happen. And then it's this on the outside of the ring is the triple hell. There's the triple hell on the outside of the ring. And then it started and it's a piece of Kenny's plywood spray painted black with barbed wire in it. Dangerous. Don't get me wrong. Very dangerous. But I don't know how you get the mantle triple hell unless Kenny has named it the triple hell. And then he goes, all right, Kenny, we're ready for the triple hell trap now. And then he hands over a barbed wire thing that he spent way too long trying to figure out how to weld, right? I feel like that's where we're at.
I mean, I guess we should be lucky that it wasn't just rolled up red sticks that just say Dynamite on them or something. Like a kettlebell that just says bomb or something like that. I mean, I guess we should be happy, but amazing match. Take nothing away from the match. The ending was the ending. Those guys are, again, that's another one where you're like, this isn't over, and Kenny and Moxley have been going at it since the very first AEW pay-per-view. If you go back to Double or Nothing 2019, that was Moxley's debut, and he debuted by attacking Kenny. So these guys have been going at it since day one, and they're going to keep going at it. They may fight until one of them is done. And so this is a fun rivalry to watch, and the matches have been tremendous, and I think we're going to see a lot more of them.
Yeah, and now we know we can sell front row seats to them again because no one's going to get hurt.
I think I don't know if I said it or not on the little 8.5 episode that we did, but having a crowd, I think a Revolution was the biggest crowd we've had since the pandemic started, and obviously, again, we did it safely, physical distanced, and it was in complete accordance with the CDC and everything like that. So I don't want anyone to make any assumptions or anything. It was completely safe, but having that crowd back was so good. It felt like the old days, even though there was only about, I don't know, it might have been 1,300, 1,800. I don't remember what the number was, but having even that amount of people felt so good. It felt like the old days where you actually feel the crowd, and they were so energetic. They were so loud, and I don't want it to make it seem like we forgot how good it was, but in a way, we forgot how much the audience played into AEW when we used to have those 5,000 and 10,000 seat arenas, and the energy was just off the charts. It felt so good having that again, and I think that is another reason why everyone performed their ass off at the pay-per-view, and I can't wait to have that feeling again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it definitely feels like it adds a kinetic energy, and I've always felt like wrestling it's like a two-way sport, right? Like there's the performers and then there's the audience, and one feeds the other because you're building off their energy and vice versa. When the wrestler is getting hype, you're getting hype, and when the audience is getting hype, you feel like you want to perform to that level. And so I'm glad to see that feeling coming back.
Speaking of which, I believe April 1st in California, they announced, this is a little bit of a pivot, like a little side pivot. We can go back to what we were talking about, but I believe they announced April 1st that we're going to be open slightly, right, for sporting events, and the MLB is going to have some fans in their California teams, and Disneyland and Magic Mountain are going to open. So that's a really positive step with showing, obviously the vaccines are going out. I think we're heading in a good direction. I'm really excited about maybe being able to go to a Laker game. Who knows? Maybe in the playoffs. And more importantly than that, AEW finally making that trip to Southern California like we were supposed to last summer. I'm really excited for that. Obviously, I'm not making any announcements. I don't want anyone to think hey, we're coming. Eventually, we will be coming, but I'm excited for that, man, because to get back to the West Coast, the best coast, my coast, face of the revolution in SoCal, I mean, that's a big, big moment for me. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited. Everything, as long as everything is done, like all these events and stuff, we want it to be done safely and in a very controlled, and make sure we keep progressing so that way we can have our lives back again and we can see wrestling live again and go to shows and everything like that. I'm super excited.
100% safety first. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. This episode of Wrestling with the Week is brought to you by Honey. These days, it feels like online shopping is the only shopping we really do, and that's where today's sponsor, Honey, comes into play. It's the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and automatically tests them when you're checking out. Honey is basically your online shopping best friend. And here's how it works. You get Honey on your computer for free in 2 easy clicks. Then, when you're checking out on its over 30,000 supported sites, Honey pops up, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. You just wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons from that site, and if Honey finds working codes, it'll apply the best one to your cart. Honey has found its over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings, and supports all kinds of retailers from tech and gaming sites to fashion brands, even food delivery. It's simple. If you have a computer, Honey should be on it. It's free and works with whatever browser you use. You can get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/week. That's joinhoney.com/WEEK, so they know we sent you. Give it a try and see how much you'll save today. Thanks to Honey for supporting today's episode. This episode of Wrestling with the Week is sponsored by BetterHelp. Mental health check-in. How are you really? And what do you need right now? Therapy can help. Sometimes it's about taking a step back and recognizing that you need to talk about what you're feeling. In 2021, talking about mental health is finally a thing, and that's why we're excited to be sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. What is therapy exactly? It's kind of whatever you want it to be. Get some tools to help with motivation, depression, anxiety, battling your temper, stress, dealing with insecurity in relationships or at work. It's kind of whatever you need. It's time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles and start feeling better because you deserve to be happy. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. So, join the millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. Right now, you can get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp at betterhelp.com/wrestling. That's betterhelp.com/wrestling. Speaking of safety first, I found some shoes that I want you to review. We talk a lot about wrestling on this. Obviously, we have perspectives on wrestling, but we got some amazing messages from people during the pay-per-view saying, this is the first time I've ever watched wrestling and I'm having a great time. So we want to make sure that we're not leaving those people behind and still talking about the things that we love to talk about, the things that just kind of entertain us. And, as you know, Sky is the shoe aficionado. You were unable to purchase any shoes in your shopping spree post pay-per-view, which frustrating, right?
So frustrating. I packed extra room in my bag so I can buy many things, and I didn't get to buy many things. I bought like 2 things, but I think I'm going to go home to some shoes. So that's that. No, go on. Show me what you got.
I know. We had talked about said some of this. The intention of this was to get me to buy shoes, but now I am also at the point where I see something and I go, I wonder if Sky would like this. So I don't know if it's shoe review or what have you, but I came across these Thundercat Pumas. These are brand new Thundercat Pumas. And so kind of like, I was telling you that the things that I think might get me into this sneakerhead world are things that are themed around stuff that I like, because then it's the colorways that I recognize and stuff like that. So these are the Thundercat Pumas. There's 3 different kinds. There's the Panthro, Lion-O, and Chitara, right? I think I got all that right. Obviously themed after the characters. I saw you immediately had a reaction to the Chitara. How do you feel about these shoes?
I like all 3 of them. Those are sick, man. They kind of remind me of NMDs a little bit, which makes me think they're going to be really comfortable. Just the look and the shape of them. But yeah, I mean those are eye-catching shoes. But what's also cool is they've got the black and white pair. So if someone doesn't, not everyone wants to be really, really out there and flashy. So they've got that black and white pair with a little touch of red, which gives it some spice and makes it a little less dull. That's for someone that doesn't want to be so flashy, but at the same time, it has some cool sneakers. So 2 thumbs up on these. I'm really digging them. I have never seen them before. So this is cool.
Yeah, they kind of flew under the radar. I literally just, because someone I follow on Twitter was like, hey, why is no one talking about these shoes? And I was like, why is no one talking about these shoes? I am running into an issue, though, where I'm like looking at those. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I might buy these shoes. Like I might get them, but then they don't have them in my size. And then I don't know, just like the only shoes, I have pretty big feet. And so that already puts me at an outlier in a world where things are already so cutthroat and competitive to get them. So
that sucks, man. That sucks. Yeah. Come on, Puma. Let's get some 13s. What are we doing?
Get some 13s. Right now, I'm looking at it. They have because I would probably go with either the Panthros or the Lion-Os. I really like them all, but I do think that maybe the little cheetah print. I don't know that I could ever possibly, in my wildest dreams, pull off the cheetah print, but
Those are sick, though. Those are sick. If anybody out there comes across a size 13 of these shoes, please reach out to us, WWTWPOD on Twitter and Instagram. Reach out to us, let us know, send us a link, or you can maybe just send a pair to our P.O. box. I'm checking so many boxes here. I love it.
Oh, wow. Nice job.
Let's get James these shoes.
Yeah. I will meet you in any dark alley you want. I will bring cash, European money. Genuine European money to get these shoes. Yeah, no, they only have a 7, a 7.5, and an 8. I'm like, who's that for?
Whoa. Okay, so those are just for very small.
I was saying, are they kids' shoes? Wait, did I stumble across the children's section? But yeah, so they're cool. Okay, good. I just want to make sure those are all right.
I'm trying to remember if I bought some shoes. Like, am I going to have some shoes when I get home off of this trip waiting for me? I know I bought some stuff before this trip that should be shipped home. So I love coming home to boxes, but I don't remember if I bought shoes or not. So I don't know. It'll be a nice surprise.
Shoes are art. Do you think that how much money do you think you would ever spend on a piece of art? How much was the most you could possibly imagine?
I bought some pretty cool art for my home when I first moved in where I live right now about 2 years ago. Maybe spent like $150 on 2 or 3 photos total, like not each. So I'm not a huge like spend money on art guy. Like, I'm not in that tax bracket, but and I don't even know if I would. Like, I could have Scrooge McDuck money, and I don't think I'm going to be, dropping a lot of coin on art. I'm a sneaker guy. So, why do you ask?
So you probably wouldn't be willing to spend $69,346,250 on a piece of art by an artist named Beeple, would you?
No. What? How much money do you have to have till you can actually spend that on art?
Let me show you the art before you make your final decision. This happened only recently, so we're recording this on a Thursday.
Come on, man!
On a Thursday, this piece of art sold today, only a few short hours ago, for $69 million, $369 million, basically. Let's just say $69 million. We'll round down.
So when I saw that pop up on the preview, I thought, we're having some technical difficulties. Like, it's like scramble vision. I was like, okay, hopefully they get that worked out. But that's the actual art, huh? $69 million?
That's the actual art, and it is 5,000 JPEGs of a bunch. It's very large. It's a very large image. It's 21,000 pixels by 21,000 pixels. So it is pretty big. But I think the big thing, obviously the big thing about it is that it's a one of a kind. Weird to say. I don't know that matters. But a couple weeks ago we were talking about the Top Shots and how people are buying clips of basketball plays and highlights, and they're selling for like hundreds of thousands of dollars because they are encrypted with one of a kind numbers. So that way, if you have this clip of LeBron James doing a layup, you own that clip. People can copy it. People can watch it on YouTube, but you own that clip. And it's like new trading cards. That whole scene has now really got embedded with art, and the art scene. And so, again, they're non-fungible, which means that the person who paid $69 million for this art has that version of the art verified. It uses cryptocurrency technology. There's a lot of good about it, which is that things can't be illegally copied. It's always going to be verified. There's a lot of bad, which is that the amount of energy required to verify this art is astronomical. Like, I have heard, not necessarily for this one, but some pieces of art, and this is a underground kind of art scene. So a lot of I was showing some to Eric earlier there's images that we can't show on this podcast. They will absolutely, it won't be not canceled yet. It will be completely 100% canceled. But suffice to say, Pikachu in compromising positions.
Oh no!
Some of our most favorite pop culture characters doing things we'd never want to see them do. But it is encrypted into that technology. And there's pieces of art that are using so much energy that it's like, I've heard up to like 200 years worth of a single household's energy expenditure to be able to encrypt some of these things. I don't know exactly how crypto works, and the people that do are very enthusiastic about that information. But that level of technologically advancement is why I guess this is so popular. And so, but either way, 69 minutes. So you wouldn't know. So let's one last chance. $69 million.
Even if I had $69 million, 10 times over, I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. However, I will. I don't know if I can actually show this, but I saw this TikTok video. I actually saw it on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And it was a picture of Kobe Bryant, or like young Kobe, like Froby, mm-hmm. and it was super, super cool. But mm-hmm. the woman that drew the picture drew it by writing Mamba 9,712 times. And so mm-hmm. like I have it on my phone. I don't know if you can actually see it, but because of, but like I'm going to zoom in. You can see there.
Yeah, yeah.
So that image is drawn by just writing Mamba 9,712 times.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
That's worth it, right? That's cool. I'll pay $69 million for that. No, I won't.
I was going to say, I don't know
I'll
that
pay I'll definitely pay, some money.
Something. Yeah, something. Yeah. Yeah, I love what, I'm not an art aficionado by any means, but I love when the process is like part of it, and that like isn't an added benefit. It's not like it's an amazing piece, but someone was like, it's too easy drawing something that's 100% lifelike. What if I forced myself to write Mamba 100 times?
That's pretty nuts. I think that's cool. I will tell you what also is amazing. This is not even on the format. But mm-hmm. all day yesterday, we were talking about how funny this is and just couldn't stop singing it. Have you mm-hmm. seen that? Like, I think it's like a Geico commercial with the old rap group Tag Team.
No,
where it's like, Scoop, there it is. Scoop. You haven't seen it? It's like the best commercial ever. And they're like doing ice cream, and they have like new lyrics. And it's like, it's like chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop, there it is. Like it's just so, you have to look it up. Like YouTube it after we finish the show. Like, and the funny thing about it is just like the people that aren't the rap group Tag Team that are mm-hmm. in the commercial are just like dancing, and they're like going so hard on the dance. Mm-hmm. Like there's this one guy, and he's literally just like Scoop. It's like people out there know what I'm talking about. This is a great commercial. It's so, oh my God. Like, there's nothing better than there's a lot of things better than a great commercial. Whoa. But when it comes to commercials, there's nothing better than a great commercial.
I Googled it just now. I Googled Geico Tag Team commercial, and it came up. And so I'm watching it right now. I can't hear it, but I am watching it. Except that the next video down is a video that says, "Who are the rappers in the Geico dessert commercial?"
Whoa, that's some new school stuff.
Yeah, why are you don't know? You don't know. Like, if the very least you know the song. And also, I mean, he's literally wearing a Tag Team jacket in this commercial. Now I'm pissed off.
People don't know who Tag Team is, man. That's a new school. Like, Tag Team's old school, like we're showing mm-hmm. our age even mm-hmm. talking about this, like, life is different. Can you imagine, like, if our parents' generation was like, God, I love that Geico commercial with the Temptations, They're just up there like,
yeah.
Shoot him.
Listen, it's the perpetual rivalry between young and old. Very much like the rivalry that we're seeing unfold between MJF and Chris Jericho on Dynamite this week.
Segue!
Look at that. Yeah, That's what we need. We need a graphic, a segue. It shoots out, and it plays Scoop. There it is underneath it. Yeah. So before we're running out of time, so I want to make sure we at least touch a little bit on Dynamite outside of your match against Darby Allin. So we mentioned that tag team match with Chris Jericho, MJF Inner Circle didn't go so great, and it went even worse on Dynamite when Chris Jericho, his Inner Circle was attacked. It looked MJF has formed his own squad of dangerous, just I mean, what would I say? Angry bald guys. That's that's the name of it.
Wait a minute.
So, no, wait, hold on.
Where's my invite?
You don't want to be in this group. You got Face the Revolution to run. But yeah, so now it looks like the Inner Circle is maybe not a circle anymore. I mean, this circle is pretty jagged around the edges.
I mean, is Chris Jericho okay? I mean, did you see what happened? Like, that was pretty wicked, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy though. I'm just gonna make it a point here. Like, maybe I'm crazy, but I might be. I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone sometimes because I might have been the only person looking at MJF and Jericho and thinking, this can't work. Right? Yeah. Eventually, based off these two guys, you ever known two people that get into a relationship and you're like, oh boy, they're dating? Oh, I don't see this working at all. This is kind of one of those situations, was it not?
Yeah, it definitely felt like two magnets. When you have two north magnets, and it's like, okay, they're both supposed to be similar, but anytime they try and touch, they're gonna shoot off to the side or whatever. It looked like it was impossibility.
Oh, you're hitting us with science.
Yeah, it's the science. I analyze people's personalities using science.
Holy cow,
that personality doctor.
That was deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was really good.
But yeah, so definitely some fallout there, and I also think we saw, speaking of people taking a little too far after the matches ended, Britt Baker really, really going crazy in her match, which is like, it seems like there's some frustration in AEW right now. People, they want to be moving up. They want to be moving in the ranks. They want to be changing the card that they've been dealt, and they aren't sure how to do that in the limitations of the ring. And so then things are falling out in other places. And I just wanted to real quick get your thoughts on that before we kind of wrap things up here.
Well, I think a lot of times you feel like your in-ring wins and losses, obviously they matter, but sometimes they don't matter in the public eye. Mm-hmm. And if you see an opportunity to just go out there and make your own moment, sometimes that's what you have to do. And I believe that's what the motivation was behind Britt Baker, myself, and a lot of other people. We're going to make our moment. I have a tremendous record myself, 31-13. Of course, I'm going to make this about me again.
Please
anyways, but I believe my record is like 31-13. Well, I guess 31-14 now, but still a very, very, very good record. But I don't feel like I get the respect I deserve, and so I'm sure Britt Baker is the same. So you just got to go out and take your respect sometimes.
Well, good news. We've reached out to our audience to manifest your respect. Okay, not that you necessarily need it from us, but we did it on Sunday night when you took that brass ring. Okay, I put out the call. We put out the call that if people out there were drawing parallels between the brass ring and Sonic the Hedgehog's magical golden rings, and so we put out the call, if we got fan art of you as Sonic the Hedgehog, we would show it on this podcast. And I hold that true. I say if it comes in 6 months from now, we'll show it. I don't care. Okay. But
I'll
for
still
now,
be the face of the revolution.
You'll still be the face of the revolution, which is another thing. That's a title that you don't ever have to put on the line. So, win, lose, or draw, nothing changes for you. That's not something other champions in AEW have to worry about. But so I just want to show off some of this. Eric, do you have some of that fan art?
I do.
Okay.
This first one is from G731 Joshi. on Twitter. I like this one because it includes James as Tails.
Yeah, that's something I didn't predict when putting out the call for this was that I would also be integrated and not as Knuckles. Knuckles is kind of like an ally, but Tails the sidekick. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I have respect for all Sonic characters. So yeah, that's some amazing Photoshop. Sky with Sonic's hair and me with Tails' everything. Okay,
this
we
one,
also have another one. Mm-hmm.
This one is from Mr. Jerry, JRYYY, which
Hello,
is
Jerry.
very similar to the other one. However, this has hand-drawn Sonic the Hedgehog hair.
I see.
Holding the ring, going to after the Chaos Emeralds, really strong stuff.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot. Let me show you this hand-drawn one by Lil Roosh.
Okay, Sky? What did you think of that? How are you feeling about these?
Okay, this
Sky,
is
do you
probably,
like being Sonic?
This is probably a good time for me to point out that I don't know enough about Sonic to understand what a Chaos Emerald is. Or, I do remember the rings because I would play Sonic as a kid, so I do get that reference. But as far as anything beyond that, I'm kind of lost. So I'm just kind of like,
don't worry.
A lot of these are, whoo.
I will be your guide. Don't worry. You've come to the right place. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
This one from Lil Roosh, ROOSH on Twitter.
Sounds like a rapper.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Sky looking cool, holding the ring high above his head with his beard.
That's you.
You're Sonic the Hedgehog on the left.
You could see it's you got the beard there, the same facial hair.
And then here's James on the right. He's got a Chaos Emerald, and he's got cool little hair, kind of swooping.
You can see my swoopy kind of hair there.
I know I haven't been able to do too many leg days in a while because of my injuries, but come on, am my legs really that small? Like, what's going on with that?
Let's get our final interpretation from Dino Champ. Tell me how you're feeling about your legs in this one. Dino Champ coming through with that Sonic Adventure 2 pose. Look at you. I feel like you like this one.
This is the one. I really, really like this one. Like, I actually, I would love to put this on a t-shirt or something if Dino Champ would allow me. That's pretty badass. I love that.
Got your gear right, like the boots are looking good. You're cleaned up, like the edges look good on that beard. Damn,
I've got this cool pose. Look at that.
Yep,
that's badass.
This is one of the things where someone can make it so quickly, and maybe I'm just not an artist. I'm no Beeple, but would you pay $69 million for that? But I feel like I see it and I go, how do we know that this person, Dino Champ, wasn't already working on something like this? Like the idea of being able to get it done in the time that we asked for to now, I'm like, it's so out of my abilities and capabilities that I think
it's called the pandemic, and a lot of us don't have time. So some people do art really quickly, and I start playing video games and become obsessed. So it's different things that we have. So.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited to get home to do so I can start my playoffs. We don't need to go into that subject, but, because I know we're almost done. But yeah, I have not played in about a week and a half. I have got my playoffs coming up. I'm very excited. But I will say this. This pisses me off a little bit. I went back. I started over. Remember I told you that. And I said, I'm going to play all 82 games, 12-minute quarters, every single game in NBA 2K. I got to the final, I believe, 4 games of the season. And I played every single game. And then I accidentally hit sim regular season and skipped a game. Only one game, but I skipped a game. Yeah. And so when I'm done, which I have 2 more games to play, but when I'm done, I will have played all 81 of 82 games. And that's kind of infuriating to me.
Yeah. Well, there's always 2K22 or
whatever. Do I start over or do I keep going? I don't know.
I mean, you have to finish it. Yeah, finish it. But I mean, that's 2 games, right? Like, I think at least you were so close to the end when it happened that you might as well just plow through and then finish it and then And then when you start over again, just maybe steer clear of that button.
Yeah, well, one of my buddies said he gave me the tip of turn autosave off. And and then that way every time you log out, it will unsave whatever you did, but you can obviously save whatever you want. And so like if I had done that prior, I would have simmed past that game and I could have just signed out and signed back in and it wouldn't have done that. So that's why part of me is like, man, do I start over? Do I just delete my file and go back and start over? I don't know. I probably won't do that, but at the same time, it's very, very tempting. They just, updated a lot of stuff in the game. They've got the new all-star jerseys, and hopefully they're going to add these earned jerseys in, and we can talk a lot about that in the next episode. But I don't know. I'll let people know whether I'm going to go on to the playoffs and try to win another championship, or will I start over and just get back to doing all 82 games, 12-minute quarters, and see what happens. I don't know. I'm frustrated.
Let me put it out here. We can ask the audience what they think. We can, I don't want you to have to hold off on playing. Might have to do a couple exhibitions in the meantime. No, it's not up to the audience. That's like simming a game, right?
I'm going home tomorrow, and I am playing tomorrow. I'm not going to wait until this episode comes out to hear what people say. I don't care what you guys think that much. No, I do.
Well,
really do.
How about this? We'll put up a poll anyway, but just know when you're responding to the poll on WWTW Pod on Instagram or Twitter, you can find us anywhere. When you're responding to the poll, just know that it's probably your choice is insignificant and the decision has already been made. But I'm just curious to see what people think just as a moral conundrum.
Yeah,
what most people would do in this scenario.
I am too. I'm curious.
I know we got to go home. I know we're right at the end, but could you imagine having this conversation when this show started where you're talking about, Sky, you're talking about auto saves and when you log out, like all this stuff, you were just like, I'm not a video game guy. Look at you.
And not only that, like, do I start over and this takes months of work. Like I can play at most 2 to 3 games in a day. Because they're 48-minute games and then timeouts and yada yada yada. So it's over an hour, and I do have things to do, even if I'm home, and so I can get through 2 to 3 games in a day. And so think about 2 to 3 games in a day, and 82 games plus an all-star game plus all these other things. So I'm very much like I don't know what I should do. Should I start over or just keep pushing and go on into the playoffs? I don't know. I got to figure it out.
Yeah, well, you decide. We're going to poll the audience and see what they think. And I think that's all the time we have this week. And so, there's the seg. Nice job. And so thank you, everybody, as always, for watching and listening. Please check out Dynamite this week. I'm going to be checking out Dynamite this week because I want to hear what Sky has to say. Very interested to hear what Sky has to say, given everything. And anything else, Sky?
Nope. Everything's pretty much covered. We'll be back right next week for episode 10. 10 episodes. You've got the shirt on, not canceled yet. That is badass. Episode 10, episode Dark Order member 10. That's like really cool, I'm 10 episodes in. That's special, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. We're not canceled yet. Thank you, as always, for watching, for listening. Tell a friend. If you think this is fun, tell a friend. We really genuinely loved getting those messages about people who are like, I have never watched wrestling before, and I'm having such a fun time because I feel like it's a personal relationship with it. We'd love to be your stepping stone into that world, or just kind of be a point of view, and then you don't have to step into it at all. You can just enjoy the show. It's a blast. Sky, I love hearing your perspectives on everything, and it's a good time. So thank you, everybody, for watching, listening, and we'll see you next week.